What the hell is that? All right, let's listen to it.
Hello, I'm Andrew Cuomo.
Oh
And
no.
unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know that the Democratic primary did not go the way I had hoped. To the
He sounds like a loser.
440,000 New Yorkers who voted for me, a sincere thank you. Thank you for believing in me, in my agenda, and in my experience. And I
Thank you for being misinformed and not knowing there were better options.
am truly sorry that I let you down.
You're not sorry. You're not sorry to anyone. You just want power, you freak.
But as my grandfather used to say, when you get knocked down, learn the lesson and pick yourself back up and get in the game. And that is what I'm going to do. The fight to save our city isn't over.
Look at him. Look at him walking around with the coffee in his hand like he's Zoran. Also, he holds coffee like a weirdo with his big wrinkly claw hand. Why does he look like such a ghoul? Why does he look like such an undead? He's just trying to be Zoran now. He's just like a lame Zoran. He's like corporate casual Zoran. Fuck this guy. Ghoulish. Absolutely ghoulish.
Only 13%.
The guy he's touching is like scared. Look at this guy's body posture. He looks fucking scared. He's like, I didn't want to be here. He's probably like a city employee, got pressured into
Over.
doing this. Look at he doesn't look comfy. He looks scared. He's like, is this guy gonna eat me?
Only 13% of New Yorkers voted in the June primary.
Oh,
The
keep coping. Keep coping. 13%. Zoran got more votes in the first round than Eric Adams got in the last round when he won last time. Keep coping, man.
general election is in November, and I am in it to win it.
Yeah.
My opponent, Mr. Mamdani, offers slick slogans, but no real solutions. We need a city.
You offer real solutions? The last solution I remember you offering was you stepping down from governor because you molested like 20 people. That's what I remember. I don't remember any solutions besides what solutions? Sending old people back to long-term care homes with COVID and then killing a bunch of people and then trying to cover it up? What solutions have you offered in your many years of office, you know? Oh, you were the housing guy under Obama or something, weren't you? So this whole housing crisis kind of your fault. You kind of didn't do anything. You have a proven track record of not offering solutions, having a lot of power and using it to molest people. That's like what he has a proven track record of doing. It's as much as like Democrats like to look down on Trump voters, the fact that in 2025 so many Democrats are still willing to vote for a freak like this over like a normal person like Mamdani, like it shows that they're just as like delusional as Trump voters, that they're just as misinformed, that they will vote for evil and like think that they're doing the right thing just as much. Like maybe it's not, it's like 100% of Republicans that will do that basically, but it's still like half of Democrats, which is not good.
With lower rent, safer streets, where buying your first home is once again possible, where childcare won't bankrupt you. That's the New York City we know. That's the one that is still possible.
Dude, you were governor. What the fuck did you do? Nothing. Leave it to me. I caused these problems, but I'll touch random people until they let me have power to touch more people, freak.
You haven't given up on it, and you deserve a mayor with the experience and ideas to make it happen again.
Also, everything about this is super like every word of his mouth is super poll tested, super focus group, super like AI vetted. Like him calling Mamdani slick. He's got slick shit. Like that's like the New York Times speak. He's literally like I don't know if he just had a New York Times columnist like write his little words here or something, but it's creepy to me how like all these corporate freaks talk the same because they've been given like the same pre-approved little little lines they're allowed to give. It's weird. I don't know who this sells with at this point, honestly.
again, and the guts to take on anyone who stands in the way. Every day I'm going to be
Like
hitting the
you?
streets, meeting you where you are, to hear the good and the bad,
Look at
problems and
this.
solutions.
Look at that awkward conversation. He's like, "So it's pretty metal down here, huh? Lots of steel." And the guy's like, "Yep, yep. Can you let me go do my job?" Yep. He's still holding the coffee like a freak.
Problems and solutions.
He's not used to holding coffee. He's not used to having little cups like this. He has like slave girls bring it him in like an elephant, like an ivory coffee mug every morning. Yeah, this poor MTA guy, right? Oh man.
Problems and solutions. Because
I like how the guy, this random dude, sorry, just this random dude walks by at the last second, like, what the fuck?
problems
He's not even
and
smiling or anything. He's just like, okay, whatever. Creepy guy.
solutions.
Creepy guy alert. He's like, oh no, Cuomo, that's the last kind of person I want to see in the subway. You know what I mean? Cuomo in the subway is the reason why there's needs to be so much NYPD in the subway. You don't know what this man's gonna do.
Because for the next few months, it's my responsibility to earn your
The guy was probably thinking like, oh shit, undead have started to fill up the subways.
vote. So let's do this. I'll see you out there.
All right, you freak. If you thought that was like meaningless and stupid and derivative, he's trying to have the aesthetics that Zoran has. Basically, he's trying to copy Zoran's aesthetics, you know, because before he lost to Zoran, the only videos you could see of him, or the only photos you could even see of him, were him like shadily like leaving his security detail to walk into some fancy restaurant to do like a multi-thousand-dollar plate dinner or something like that. You never saw him on the street. And now he's just like walking around everywhere, touching people's phones, holding coffee. He's trying to have the aesthetics that Zoran has, but it's not just derivative of that. He's still completely derivative of every corporate Democrat campaign that's ever been run. So he's still doing all the corpo speak and all the like generic posting stuff. It's kind of pathetic. If you want to see something more pathetic though, so there's like four other candidates in the race, I think, right? Like other than Mamdani, there's Cuomo, there's Eric Adams, there's Curtis Sliwa, the Republican, and there's another independent Wall Street goon named Jim Walden. So it says here, I'm going to zoom in a bit. Walden has proposed that the four free market candidates opposing Mamdani agree to a plan in which, following a rigorous poll in September, all but the strongest among them would drop out to consolidate support. Cuomo has endorsed the proposal and called on Adams and Sliwa to do the same. So in case anyone thought that like progressives could work with the Democratic establishment, like this Cuomo has endorsed their proposal is like the Democrats coming out saying like Sliwa is a Republican. He's a MAGA guy. He's a Trump guy. This is instead of, and it's so crazy to me because after all the shouting Democrats have done about unity, whenever Bernie tried to run, it was always like, Bernie's causing disunity. We need unity to win. We need unity to win. Blah, 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 blah. And then as soon as the unity doesn't suit them, then, well, they're calling for unity. They're calling for unity with Republicans now, right? They would rather have unity with Republicans to defeat a socialist than to like let a socialist win. Like even putting even, and I shouldn't even say socialist because he's running on just like basic social democratic things. Like is there's nothing radical in Zoran's platform. He's running like a center left, like he's running a platform that would be like a moderate liberal in 1970s Europe. You know what I mean? There's nothing like crazy in his platform at all. But the Democrats are so fascistic and conservative and right wing, the Democratic leadership, that never mind unity, never mind like unifying with that, they won't even let that exist. They'll actively go to try to unify with Republicans and try to team up with Republicans to try to defeat progressive candidates. It's crazy. So don't ever let them gaslight you into unity, blah 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 again. Like, there is no unity. This is the end of unity. And maybe they realize it's fucking war now. Like, their base isn't stopping. Their base hates them, and their base wants better candidates, wants like real leadership, a new generation of leaders, and they know that. So maybe they've just given up, right? Maybe they've just given up on even trying to win their base over at this point, and they're like only interested in working with conservatives. I don't know. That's how this reads. Because like Eric Adams is like a historically unpopular candidate, a historically corrupt candidate who is basically like a Trump tool. So you have like this Trump asset, you have just like an outright Trump supporter, and clearly Cuomo feels more kinship with them than he does Mamdani. And like I think how this is gonna backfire though is that like as like misinformed and misguided as a lot of New York Democrat voters might be, I think they at least understand that they're supposed to be anti-Trump. Like, Trump polls at like -50 in New York, so like pretty much all the Democrats hate him, right? Like 100% basically of the Democrats hate him. The independents pretty much hate him. Like, Eric Adams is openly Trump aligned. Curtis Sliwa is always been very Trump aligned, right? Um, and New York City voters are not. And one of their big concerns is actually like, how are you going to do? How is our next mayor going to deal with Trump? And so I think like I don't think this is gonna work, to be honest. If only because of that. If only because like most New Yorkers hate Republicans so much that seeing all these like Republican allies and Republican, just straight up Republicans being behind Cuomo, I think is gonna polarize them against that. And they'll just see like, well, because ultimately, this just means it's either Mamdani or it's fascism, right? You don't get, and this is like true everywhere, and it's something that like liberals really like should have probably understood 10 plus years ago, right? But they don't. And obviously, like, there's a ton of media bias. Like, the media's whole game is to like promote these fascist collaborationists and not allow anyone who will actually fight fascism, like Bernie Sanders, to be near power, right? That's their whole point. Um, so you can understand how people got like primed to make stupid choices based on that. And I think this election will make it clear, like, there's no alternative to fascism. There's no resistance to fascism except for some kind of socialism. There's just not. And you've seen this broadly where like the two figures before Mamdani who had been popular in the Democratic Party throughout, Trump's second term have been AOC and Bernie, and it's largely because they're seen as the ones who are actually fighting it. It's not like an ideological thing. It's not like people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm a democratic socialist now." It's more just like, "Oh yeah, those people are fighting. They actually care. Why aren't the other people fighting at all?" In the context of all that, this election is going to make it very obvious that you got two choices. You either get more fascism, you either boost the power of fascism, or you let a socialist have power. And I just think that it'll be like I could see a similar thing to the way that people felt about Bernie in 2016, where Bernie was bringing a lot of people into the Democratic coalition who weren't ideological and who didn't even necessarily agree with Bernie on like everything, or have many disagreements even, but Biden famous for lying, Hillary obviously very dishonest. um Kamala constantly going back on her promises. Like, I think the differential, the edge that Bernie had in his candidacy in part was just you could tell he really cared and he was really fighting, and like he believed in the things he said. I mean, he'd been saying the same things for 40 years. It's not like Hillary, who supports Medicare for all in the 90s, but then in the 2000s, like it just disappears after that, right? As soon as she gets anywhere near power, it's gone. Her beliefs are gone, right? That's not how Bernie worked. So people can see that, and I think that Mamdani is going to have some kind of a similar, aura about him, where people see like, oh, okay, like in that context, it's almost like not even that important to obsess over like all the little policy details. It almost becomes like concern trolling, because you're like, well, I don't know if like free buses and like congestion pricing and like public grocery stores, I don't know if those are economically viable. We might waste like $50,000 on one of those ideas, or something stupid like that, right? And it's like you're talking about the choice between that and a fascist, just like somebody who's like incredibly corrupt and is clearly not working in the best interest of people, right? So at a certain point, it's kind of crazy. Like, you have to be just like delusional about the kind of person Zoran is. Because even if you don't agree with Zoran's policies, if your option is like between an honest person who is doing their best, even if you don't think they're doing a great job, right? Or a person who's just like fully corrupt, a sexual assaulter, a nepo baby, like, um, I don't know. It's crazy to me that like people get into the weeds about policy when it's like just on the face of it, it's like you don't need to go into policy to call this one bro. Like, you know which one of those is gonna end up being better. Anyway, don't let concerned trolls about policies, don't let the policy wonkery and the freaks who think they have an idea of how policy works and stuff, don't let them troll you. And like I said, more importantly, never let the Democrats talk about unity again. Never let the Democrats talk about resisting Trump again. As far as like the establishment, typical corporate centrist Democrats go, never let them talk about that again. Because as soon as Cuomo endorsed the independence proposal to work with a Trump asset in Adams, a known Trump asset in Adams, and just a flat out mega guy Sliwa, to take down Mamdani, like any notion of unity is over, right? It's literally like replace all of them. Like, seriously, just get rid of all of the Democrats. I mean, we can spare a few. We can spare Rashida. We can spare Ilhan. We can spare AOC. But like, I don't know, right? Other than like a handful of them, get rid of them. They're not. They shouldn't be there. They're not doing it. Unless you're doing something to actually lead people, if your argument is that I'm a good legislator and I'm a good like policy wonk and I can run a mean office and like make deals with other politicians, like just get out. Either these people have to bend the knee, right? Either they have to like give in to what the base wants, or the base should just go for their throats. Like, we don't need any more Elizabeth Warrens who are gonna like call Bernie sexist instead of endorsing him and try to stab him in the back. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how many like progressive policies you support on paper. Like, if you either bend the knee to the socialists, or you like are gonna be deleted from the party. Like, Democratic voters do not realize that like the Democratic leadership would rather Republicans win forever than to like allow somebody who's actually gonna challenge power to win. So they're our enemy, right? the way that Mamdani won as well, like a large scale on the ground, like volunteer network, mobilized people that are going to drive out new voters, right? There's that template, and then also like the fact that Zoran was able to do that and win so convincingly, like just as a pretty random guy, like a guy without like some kind of big established political background or connections or donors or whatever, the things that we used to assume that you kind of needed, right? And it wasn't completely clear with Bernie because Bernie had been in politics forever. He'd been a mayor of a city, he'd been a congressperson, a senator for decades and decades and decades and decades. So it felt like, oh, we don't have anyone else like this who's like established enough to really do it. But now what's becoming clear is like you don't really need to be established at all, actually. You can just be any person and run and win. We need a massive change. There's a ton of work to be done, but the conditions for creating that kind of change are a lot closer than, I think most people expected or thought they were, or even realize now. We might not be there yet, but the conditions are at least very close to correct to just replace the old Democrat leadership, have a Tea Party, I'm doing that in air quotes, type movement within the Democrats to kind of oust the old generation of political leadership and replace it with one that actually represents the voters, right?